Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to UltimateE's India versus Argentina. We're making history here in the virtual esports league, where India takes on the might of Argentina. We've got six of the best from India and six of the best from Argentina taking each other on tonight for an absolute cracker of a battle in Gran Turismo across two super tracks with very short races. But of course, with these tracks being 7 kilometers long and 7 laps each, we're in for an absolute war. For the first race today, I'm joined by Arman Ibrahim, the co-founder of UltimateE. Arman, how you doing? Good to have you on board after that Le Mans that you just pulled.
Thanks, Anjan. It's great to be here. We've had an action-packed motorsport mundial sort of a weekend that UltimateE has pulled off. Two cars entered in the Le Mans 24 hours held by iRacing, which was, really, it was just quite interesting and a big learning curve to all the drivers, engineers, spotters, everyone who took part, and the UltimateE team basically, and putting two teams together. From there, we ran Formula One, and now for this event that we've been so excited about, and which we you and all of us put together. We've been growing strength to strength in the GTsport format. And it's great to see that that Argentina has even brought a team forward and taking our boys on. Really looking forward to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, because these guys, like you just said, with Argentina bringing teams out, these are the official GTsport Argentina team that represent the country where they fly around the world and race GTsport against countries and against sim races from other countries. So it is super to have them on board. And I'm going to introduce the drivers from India and Argentina very soon. Of course, Alman will take us through them. We don't know much about the Argentinian drivers, but we do have the guy who took it to Patrick the Machine Blažin last time out, Assosiation, who's been absolutely instrumental in putting this together with us at UltimateE and bringing the best to the fore, bringing his best to our fore, and we're really thankful for him to do that. So for Argentina, we've got Assosiation, Popoy Roy, Dale Ross, Leader, Milicio, Caesar, and Patu 2003. And for India, a couple of the usual names, the ancient Amadya Raga, Bravikiran, Pratibha Prakash, Glenn, Shamim Fatah, and Pratik, who is going to, who we know. All these guys, the Indian side, we've seen them race in and race out the last couple of weeks, Arman, and I think with the action lined up and everywhere I've heard from Assosiation about the GT guys in Argentina, this is something we really look forward to for a very long time.
Oh, for sure. These guys have been taking part quite regularly now, I could say, with Patrick and Assosiation and everyone, and it's been phenomenal. I think it's shown, because initially when we started, we were like, okay, these Indian boys are quite talented. They're doing really well because we eventually had the top 15 of the GTsport drivers in India who kept coming weekend after weekend, competing with each other, and we thought that was a really high level. And then these guys came in and took it up another notch. But what's happened since then is that every weekend we've been getting closer and closer and disrupting them. Earlier it used to be a double win. But what's happened in the last 2 weeks, I think our guys have snuck in there and have pulled it out. I pulled off the coop, and have brought in some results. What that's done is helped them grow in confidence, and now they're working as a team as well to try and understand how to save fuel, enhance their tires to last, to be more durable, and to even go through the shorter race without a pit stop. So they're starting to explore new boundaries because the competition, the level has gone up.
I think we're back. I think we had a few little issues.
I'm telling you back.
Yeah, I think I have. Let me know. I think we're on. So Arman, like you were saying, there was so much going on, and the platforms that we've been providing to these guys, I think that UltimateE has brought a lot of these guys to the fore, and it's great to see countries like Argentina bringing their official teams in to compete with the likes and the might of India as well. So this is something that we've been looking forward to for a long time to come, and hopefully we've got more countries lined up for you guys from UltimateE, Arman.
No, for sure. It's all about raising the bar, right? And every time we wanna keep raising the bar so that our drivers who compete here always are pushing themselves and doing a complacent, and which is what we've seen. And now that we've done that, you see them trying to find new strategies and eke out more time and all the different departments that's available, all the tools that are available, using all the tools that are available to them. We've got two really interesting circuits today as well, and which I think they're going to provide some really interesting racing.
Yeah, for sure, like you said, because I want to take it quickly through them because these are GT fantasy circuits that we've got. The first one is the Autodromo Lago Maggiore, sitting out of Italy, as the GT tracks call it. It's a fictional circuit that appears in Gran Turismo, and it's a 3.5 mile or a 5.86 kilometer circuit. So it's a really long circuit with quite tight twist corners, long straights where the slipstream we know in these cars, how effective it is, and will come into contention as well. And the circuit was built as a Grand Prix circuit as well, so it is qualified for these cars to race on. So it's going to be great to see these guys go on. And of course, our first race will be a 7-lap race. We're in qualifying number 1 at the moment. So like always with GT, we have one qualifying session for 10 minutes. We've got about 4 minutes left in this qualifying session right now, with Aspashito now setting the pace, and Aditya Raghav, the quickest Indian right now, up in third place. So it's good to see him and Ravi in third and fourth, because Aspashito keeps telling me how quick these guys are in Argentina, and as quick as him. We know how quick Aspashito is as well. So Arman, with these guys, the GT boys now in the top 2 between Papoy Rowe and Aspashito Kahal. Aditya Raghav, absolutely nothing in it between these guys.
I mean, we've got obviously are the Argentinian guys, and we know Esposito, but we don't know the rest really, and we know they're going to be strong because their ratings are quite high. But nevertheless, we've also got our guys who've been going week in week out. Like you said, ancient of Aditya Raghav. We've got Ravi Kiran, we've got Pradyumna, we've got Ben, we've got Shamim. So all we've got our top guys as well, and we might be in for some surprises here. I think it's going to be competitive. I think looking at the layout, the mix that this circuit provides. There's some corners that remind me of the Nürburgring. There's some corners that remind me of circuits in Japan. The sea is so scenic as well, and it's quite flowy as well, with a lot of elevation changes. And I'd expect some mix, a bit of a mix, in the grid, and especially because a lot of them are just now understanding that they can start stretching their time on track out more and eke out more from the car rather than just jump into the pits. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Because you were telling me over the weekend that the Indian guys have actually been texting each other, trying to work out strategies amongst themselves and work as a team.
Yeah.
And that's been great to see, because when we did this race a couple of weeks ago, people like Aditya Raghav and Prakash were reaching out to the guys like Patrick and Aspashito, asking them for advice in terms of how they can get their tires a bit longer. And that's been proving, because these guys have gotten so much quicker over the last couple of weeks, just trading secrets with each other.
Yeah, they're calling themselves Maverick and Goose and things like that nowadays, Anjan. That's how well they're working together as a team, But it's just raising that the bar in competition. And what do you do then as a competitor? You try and learn as much as you can from the others and try and eke out the best that you need to deliver on the given day, right? So
absolutely, because that's like you said, because we've got to work as a team to get the best out of everybody at the end of it. It's racing, unfortunately, has an eye, but there's no eye in team, which is brilliant, because these guys now, with 1.5 minutes left to qualify, Aspashito now seems to be setting the pace and setting the timing screens alight, and the gap behind him, there's absolutely nothing between the top 6 if you look at it at the moment. It's about 1/10 between these guys, but Aspashito on his last flyer, now setting purple sectors as he goes along this track. Where we are at Autodromo Lago Maggiore in Italy. I'm just going to call this Italian GP in short, so it's easier for us to pronounce it as well. There we go, and his buddy from Argentina as well, Papoy Rowe, in second place, but 1/10 of Aspashito Kahal in first, with Aditya Raghav now the best of the rest, and the Indians now in third place. With 2/10 off it, so he's taking it to them, and Ravi Kiran as well, 1/10 off Aditya Raghav. So Arman, it is not as far apart as I thought it would be. With these guys are rather closer than ever.
For sure. I mean, I don't know why you thought otherwise, Anjan. And I expected them to be up there and challenging the rest of them, and to be right in the mix of it. And it doesn't surprise me at all, And I mean, To be honest, I think even Aspasito in the last
Since you're
race
saying that,
in,
look who's
in
full
full
on
G.
board.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think Raghava was gone quickest,
there we
and
go. Ladies and
so
gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm a little bit of a shock right now because Adya Raghav has put that car on pole ahead of Aspasito Gal.
well,
Last
he's
last 5 laps.
he's gone back about 4 tenths quicker. So they always got some time in the bag. As you can see him slowing down to go and make a change and come back. But I mean, again, two of them have come into the top two.
Yeah.
But we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Okay, three of them have come back in. But let's see what happens in the race because the gaps aren't that big.
Absolutely, because the gaps are less than hundreds between these guys. Right? That's the kind of margins we're looking at. Shamim, of course, we're one of the quickest guys India has. We've seen him in and out every single other weekend. He's taken the battle. He takes the battle to Pradima Prakash quite often. So these two guys, I wonder they've been working in tandem to get the best out of both their cars. Like Arman said, the Top Gun team of Maverick and Goose. So let's see what these guys can do further down the grid because they sure can slip something in starting next to each other. Prakash looks like he's starting out in 8th place, Ravi Kiran in 7th. So it looks like we've got a big mix of, we've got a couple of Indians in the mix right now in the top 10 with Argentina right now. Aspasito Cajal taking pole position for the first race of this Italian GP, like we're going to be calling it from now on. And with Papi Ro in 2nd place from Argentina and Fafu 2003 from the Argentinian camp as well, with Aditya Raghav putting an absolute stonker at the end of it, but just unable to hold them off, but very, very close to the top 3. Because we have a whole bunch of guys coming down the field as well. But these guys, Arman, like a lot of these guys we don't talk about. Pratik Benya, I wonder what happened to him down in 12th place because he's one of the quicker guys that we have along with Glenn.
For sure. I mean, they're all very similar level. I mean, week in and week out, you see a different person winning. Really, Ajay Raghav, I think, is possibly amongst the Indian drivers. He's the strongest qualifier. In qualifying, he's one of the strongest there. But in the races, they've been quite evenly mixed up between all of them. Like you can see now, even Pradyumna who's gone up to 4th. Oh, sorry, he's still in 8th.
Place. Yeah, he's in 8th place. Yeah.
That was a mistake.
We've only seen him start off in the midfield, but then makes a massive legway coming in that first lap.
For sure, but coming back to my point of being, we've always known Aditya to be a strong qualifier. But the thing is, the rest are also very strong in the races. So, but that's what makes it really exciting for us, the viewers, because qualifying doesn't just determine your race. It's not processional. You do have a lot of overtaking. It's quite exciting. There is some strategy involved. You got to save fuel. You got to look after your tires, and that's what provides for a really entertaining race as well.
Exactly, because we're on board right now. Like Arman said, we're in for some really entertaining races. We're qualifying per se, strategy and fuel and tires all are going to come into play at this point in time because we're in for a rolling start at the Italian Grand Prix where India take on GTsport Argentina. The UltimateE India takes on the GTsport Argentina. It's going to be a rolling start, a 7-lap race around the 6-kilometer circuit. We've just seen these as qualifying with Aspasito Cajal on pole, Papi Ro in 2nd place, and Fafu for the Argentinas running out the top 3. And Aspasito now is going to bring them across the start-finish straight, across the finish line into a heartbreaking left-hander. That's a very tricky corner to get right. And if he can, in 3, 2, 1, the lights go green and we are away when we go racing. Aspasito Cajal looks like he's getting a great little run into turn number 1, followed very closely by Papi Ro with Fafu in 3rd place. The ancient pleb, Aditya Raghav now in 4th place, Shamim up in the 5th place, and Militio in 2nd and 6th place for Argentina. Ravi Kiran in 7th place and Pradima Prakash in 8th place now. But there we go as we go down the first couple of laps. Looks like Aspasito has it under control in front, and a rolling start takes out the element of carnage in the first corner. So we see some great battles as we go along, and their true pace will be shown very, very soon, Ahmad.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can see them all. I mean, they're working as a team here. 1, 2, 3, making sure there's no drama and just putting the sectors in so that, they eke out that gap. Aditya Raghav is staying right behind them in 4th place, and that's all he needs to do. Is just hunt them down and stay with them, and see where they're gaining that little bit more. While saving, I know he's been practicing a lot on his fuel saving strategy. So you'll see him running. Running a strategic race that way. Behind him, Shami has done a really good job qualifying, and he's holding a strong 5th place.
Because he's now
But
got Milito right behind him. Seems to
yes,
be coming back.
but again, he's used to. Shami is one person who's used to constant pressure. So again, like you see how, like you notice how he could just keep it on the outside and with no worries really.
Yep.
But I mean, it's been a clean first lap. That's most important, with no real dramas. And yeah, I mean, people just. I mean, I think that everyone, as the tire wear goes on, let's see how people start getting to a rhythm.
I must say the UltimateE team, the UltimateE team, the graphics team done a phenomenal job because those Indian cars are looking absolutely stunning on those year 2 cars in this game today. Because the Argentinians as well have some really good looking cars. But there we go, as we come across the line to finish that first lap, Assosiation now leads this race. 7 tenths behind him, his teammate Papoy Rowe from Argentina with Fafu. The top 3 have not changed. Aditya Raghav now in 4th place and 5th place with Shamim 94. So Shamim up in 5th place as well. We know he can, like you Arman was saying earlier, help around the outside. Nothing really affects him because he's been in so many battles with his elbows out over the summer here in India with UltimateE, and we've seen him get his elbows out, get it messy, get it dirty, and he's really not afraid to throw down the gauntlet.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think you just have to be. It's controlled aggression, and sometimes you can cross that line. But no, Shamim has always been a hard but very fair racer, and you can see him after the race also going to everyone that he had a dice with and talking to them, and trying to understand whether he was right or wrong and whatnot. So hard but fair. So. So far, no real dramas like we said. But Esposito seems to be in his rhythm. He's going purple again and again. But he's not pulling away as much. He's carrying the train with him.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of a gap now between second and third place between Papai Rowe and Pafu 2003, and that gap now seems to have increased by 1.4 seconds as we come around the last couple of corners of second three of this long lap. But in front, Asposito Kahal, or rather Pafu right now in third place, is setting some purple sectors. So he looks like he's been keeping Aditya Raghav honest in 4th place for India, because Aditya Raghav's now got him up, but behind them, between Milito, Shamim and Ravikiran, Pratibha Prakash, this battle is just now heating up, because Milito looks like he's got ahead of Shamim right now for 5th place, and Shamim down in 6th place. I think Milito looks like he's got a little too much speed that he's carrying in these corners, and I think another guy behind is also, is that Ravikiran holding? Yeah, that's Ravikiran carrying a penalty as well, I think, down at the back. Or Pratibha Prakash rather carrying that penalty down at the back. But for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, it is super close racing, and this train is only getting longer because there are about 10 cars behind these guys now fighting for position. And if Milito can keep these guys behind him, he's going to let Aditya Raghav run away ahead of him, Arman.
It is, but like you said, but also remember the next race is a complete reverse grid. So, what is really interesting here is that no one is going for any. You're not able to overtake here, and turn things around. If everyone's consistent on a reverse grid format, even though it's a different layout that we're looking at, it gives the guys at the back a chance. So I think everyone's just looking to score points here, but also waiting for. It's a 7-lap race. You've got 4 more laps. Again, now after the 5th lap is when you'll see those who have used a lot of fuel and are going to pit, or those who've just been, just on a fuel-saving mode and can start pushing on the last few laps. Remember, there have been times where people have run out of fuel on the last lap as well. So let's just wait for a couple of laps.
We've seen that happen over the last couple of weekends, where on the last lap, a little bit of overconfidence thinks they can take the car to the line, but it just does not happen, unfortunately. But here we go, we're on board now. Shamim looks like he's coming back at Milito, but that's giving Aditya Raghav ahead a little bit of breathing room. So he can go after Papu, Papoy Rowe and Asposito Kahal, the top 3, which is Argentina has taken this thirds at the moment. But it's great to see these guys take that battle to guys like Milito. But Shamim now, like I'm not saying, has no fear, comes around his elbows, or always wants to get into battle and races rather cleanly around this block. But Rubbing is racing in GT, and that's exactly what we're saying, because he's being pushed around right now. But Shamim gives him a little knock on his inside tire. But Milito seems to hold that position, and Ravikiran behind Shamim now. Then take the both of them. Whoa, that was a great little move. Oh, I thought he got that move done, but he didn't, because Milito is still holding his line for 6th place, and he's trying to get these guys. He's trying to shake him off, but Shamim has lost his space to Ravikiran now, and Ravikiran is a very, very quick driver in this game, and I wonder if Milito can hold him up, because he seems to be coming back at him rather hard. with 3 laps to go, including this one. So this are great battles going up and down the field, while the top 3 or 4 have settled down into their group, trying to conserve fuel, trying to conserve their tires. But 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, when you have guys like Milito, Ravi Kiran, Pratibha Prakash, and Shamim dropped off the grid there a bit, because he seems to have dropped off a little bit. Or has he pitted? Because I think we've missed that a little bit.
I think he's pitted.
I think Shamim would have pitted early, so that's an early pit stop for Shamim. We did not see that coming. But let's see if he has made these early pit stops work for him in the past, and it has gained him a bunch of places towards the end of the race. So let's just see what he can do when he gets the fuel buddies out of this, and then he can go full throttle throughout the entire race. There we go. Shamim's all the way now down in 12th place. I wonder what happened there, because I think he has pitted, because it looks like he's got new tires. No, he's got no fuel. I don't think he's pitted. I think he's made a mistake, Arman. Because it does not look like he's got any extra fuel or new tires being put on the car.
No, we missed it. Basically, he made a mistake around wide right way when they were that chain. Unfortunately,
all the top boys now, like you were saying, and all the top guys into the pits now, including Aspasito Kahel, Fafu 23, Poppy Rowe, Fafu 2003, Papoy Rowe. All these guys have made their pit stop. Aspasito now looks like he's coming out in front. Top 4 looks like after making their pit stop have come out as it seems and as it stands. But the gap now between Aditya Raghav and Papoy Rowe looks like it's a lot closer than it was, because it was 1.8 seconds before they went in the pit stop. Now half a second too. So his outlap, Arman, take us through this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've never driven here, but look, watching them, it's phenomenal. It's on the outlap, they're coming to this long right-hander. I mean, you can see the camber as well, which tightens up, and that's where the grip comes in, and then it goes uphill again, full on the power, going up the gearbox, the 4th gear, then braking again for this left-hander. Look at them using all the width. The good thing about here, the curbs are flat, so these guys are just running over all the curbs, using all the width of the circuit into this left kink again, and to a rather long sweeping right-hander. Beautiful scenic background they've got going there as well.
Yeah, I mean these cars, and also with that background, these cars look absolutely stunning driving through this Italian countryside, like you said, Arman.
Yeah.
But here we go. We got Pratibha Prakash riding on board with right now. A sandwich between two Argentinians, as it seems. Whoa, that's a very odd line he's taken there, because this is going to get Dale Rosca behind him. He's going to get a decent run into Pratibha Prakash to come around the last sector of this track. It looks like he made a little bit of a mistake, and look how much speed he's carrying through these corners, but defending really hard from Dubna right now in 8th place. Keep that place intact, because if he does, then he will start when we reverse the right next time around, he's going to start somewhere in the mid pack again. But there we go, coming up, I think Aditya now, Aditya Raghav looks like he's taking the fight now to Papoy Rowe from Argentina in front, because Papoy Rowe is now 4 tenths ahead of him, and 2.5 seconds now between him and third place and second place as it stands. This battle, Arman, it's great to see someone like Aditya Raghav taking the best in Argentina.
It's awesome. It definitely is. I mean, I think that was what Pratibha made was a mistake, but he still held his own. But no, nonetheless, I mean, Esposito is just using his experience and he's going purple up purple. He's pulled out a gap to P2 as well. You can see the difference in the line as well. I mean, Aditya seems to be a little more tighter into that camber right-hander, and maybe that's just working the tires a bit more. But he's still there. He's still within a second. So, he just has to force him into one small mistake, and he can pounce and take that position away. He's just got to be careful not to run too wide or cut through the curves too aggressively, where he picks up a small penalty which he'll have to slow down for.
And as he comes along, exactly, like, so he's got to slow down for these penalties. These penalties in this game are rather realistic, and they're not very hard to get rid of if you can control your race plan. But
they're quite frustrating.
Frustrating. As a racing driver, I would only expect you to say that. They are frustrating for sure. But there we go. I think this battle now for the last spot on the podium between Aditya Raghav and Papi Rowe seems to be heating up, because Aditya Raghav on this penultimate lap looks like he's closed the gap down. A couple of more tenths he's taken off him. But like Arman was saying, not the easiest to overtake on these tracks, apart from the start of the straight and the back straight as well. But the curve, you got to get your braking points absolutely right. Or we saw like Pratibha Prakash, you will make mistakes and have to hold your line. Behind them now, but behind these guys, there's a lot to settle down a bit, because there are battles up and down the field. But everyone right now seems to have settled out what each other's pace is and settled down to a nice little rhythm. Because we've only got now 2 laps on the final lap at this point in time, with Aspasito Kahal going to lead us across the line. One more, we're going to lead us around this track one more time. 7 seconds clear ahead of Fafu 2003. So Fafu looks like he's made a pit stop, place up in the pit stop because he was battling with Aditya Raghav earlier, and he looks like in the pit stops has overtaking Papoy Rowe for third place. And Aditya Raghav now behind him, he's dropped back a couple of tens, maybe made a little bit of mistake, or Papoy Rowe just going a little bit quicker on his final lap. But these guys, it's great showing by Aditya Raghav and Ravi Kiran in fourth and fifth, keeping the likes of Milicho, Leader, and those guys behind him.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're on the last lap, and Aspasito seems to have got it in the bag, really. But again, we don't put the commentator's curse in him. We just hope that he makes it back. I mean, Aditya Raghav is still pushing hard and still trying to get that third place. Look at this elevation they've got going here. It's phenomenal. I mean, I can only imagine if the circuit was actually there in real life. It would be superb to drive on because the layout just looks so enjoyable.
And that's something I think UltimateE can think of doing, buying some land in Italy, building a beautiful circuit around this, and we all live happily ever after in Tuscany as we come into the last sector of this Italian Grand Prix for race number 1. Aspasito Cajal looks like he has it in the bag, coming on the last corner now, down the start finish straight. Vamos to Aspasito Cajal as he wins the first race of UltimateE India versus GTsport Argentina, the battle. What a beautiful, well-controlled race. Argentina now taking the top 3 with Pafu 2003 making up 1 spot to finish in second place. Papi Rowe in third place. Ancient Pleb Aditya Raghav unable to catch Papi Rowe, but held on these guys and was brilliant showing by Aditya Raghav, finishing up at fourth. Ravi Kiran behind him in fifth. Superb job by him, hanging on these guys up and rounding up the top 5. Vidun Prakash now in 8th place. We have a couple, Leader now in 7th place. Prakash in 8th place. Dale Ruska in 9th place, Glenn Ling in 10th place, and Pratik Benya in 11th place, Shamim 94 in 12th place. So we had an absolute crack, and of course, Aspasito Cajal, as we all know, has controlled this race from the beginning, from the absolute start, and has come out on top as the absolute winner. We're now going to have a reverse grid for race number 2, and it's a completely different circuit. We're going to be at the Circuit de Saint-Croix. This is the one in France. Again, it's another GT fantasy circuit that we've got going on. This again, another really long circuit, a 7-kilometer circuit, Arman.
And yeah, 100% Anjan, and that's going to be a phenomenal race because it's a reverse grid, and it's just going to mix things up. Again, it might be a circuit where there's not much overtaking that's going to be, available. So it'll be a great opportunity for the guys in front to not make a mistake and just focus on what they have ahead. And for that, I'm going to let my partner Aditya Patel come into the comm box, and I'm going to take the night off, really, because it's been a long 24 hours.
Definitely,
it's been a super fun race one, and I'm going to hand over the comms to Aditya for now.
Super, enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Arman. You definitely had a long day. This was actually Arman's final stint. He finally has ended his UltimateE. 26 hours of UltimateE has come to an end for Arman.
I don't think we're going to see him for the next 48 hours or hear from him for the next 48 hours. The man definitely deserves the rest. So does the entire Le Mans crew that put in an absolute stonkers. The LMP2 crew and the NMP2 and the GTE crew from UltimateE. It was brilliant watching them. We're coming right back now. We're going to be we're back now at Circuit de Saint-Croix. After that first race, this reverse grid always throws up surprises, especially when the fast guys like Aspasito start at the back.
Yeah, always, because it just makes sense that the faster guys at the back are trying to make as much places as they can in the early parts of the race before the gaps start to increase. And usually we do have the second race that's a little bit longer than the first race, so it tends to keep that action on for a bit longer. And we've seen in the last few weeks, Sanjan, that it's been crazy, absolutely crazy when it comes to the second race, which is a full reverse grid. Unlike most of the championships you see, when they have only half the grid reversed or, top 8 reversed, but now we go everybody reverse. So this basically means whoever finished last in the first race will start on pole position in the next race. And I'm really looking forward to this.
I mean, I wonder, we're going to see some insane action, I think, up and down the field. Because like Aditya, you just saying that this is the race I'm most excited about when we come to race 2 of GT, especially when we have reverse grids. It throws up so many unexpected surprises, and we never see them coming because we can have a guy who starts at the back of the grid. We've seen people like Patrick and Aspasito make their way all the way from the back of the grid, and finished super quickly up in front. But I think as the pits, I think as we stand with our standings, we've got what Milito who's starting first, who'll be on pole on there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take a look on who's going to be on pole, but I think who was it? Was it Mito?
I think Milito finished further up the field, so we
Yeah.
just wait for the actual standing to come up. Of course,
Yeah, we'll wait for the actual.
yeah, because we're going to start anyway in a couple of seconds right now. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, rolling start. 7-lap race around the Circuit de Sainte-Croix B. We're out in the middle of France, of course. Another GT circuit that runs through towns, villages, and streets as well. So we're going to be in for an absolute cracker 7-lap race that is going to get going very, very soon. But so once we get to this race out there, I think when we saw these guys with pace up in front, and you followed the first race as well, I haven't thrown this question to you in a couple of weeks actually. Who's your money on?
This one, it's actually going to be interesting, but I think the advantage here right now will be with Aditya Raghav. He does have the pace of the top three, or he's pretty close to them, and he is starting ahead of the guys who finished in the top three the last time round. So he does have that little bit of advantage going into this race, and I would think he will take advantage of that situation that he is in. But that being said, Esposito, we've seen him before come all the way from the back and win races, or at least fight for the win. He did have Patrick to contend with in the past, and he said Patrick was an absolute beast. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do now.
Well, I saw his Instagram post after that race where he was like, I threw everything I did and Patrick still got me in the end. And it was great to see. It was great to see this battle between these world-class talents, and it's also great to have the Argentinians here with us battling against the UltimateE India team in our super special GTsport. So, I'll tell you the kind of events that you guys have thrown up over the last couple of weekends, and I was telling Arman the same thing, has been nothing short of not just super Sundays, but we're doing super weeks and weekends with all the scrims and the actual racing over the weekends.
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks actually, and what's been great is that we've seen an increasing number in participation, no matter what game it is, be it Gran Turismo, be it Formula One, be it iRacing. We've seen a lot of people wanting to come and take part, whether it's on the PlayStation or on the PC. So that way it's been great, and like you said, scrims during the week, which is just a friendly. And even I took part this week. It was great fun. There was a little bit of bumping going on, but that's part of scrims. That's what it's about. And it's going to be good to see that more often. Okay, here we go. We see them now.
Here we go. Yeah, I think again once we go, we got a rolling start going on. Where RD Cam looks like he's going to be starting on pole. Shami 94 in second place. Pratik Benya now in third place. Glending in fourth place. Dale Raska from Argentina in fifth place. Pradip Akash in sixth place. Loves that little midfield. Leader in seventh place. Milito in eighth place. And yeah, we're going to have them go take us across the line right now with RD Cam from Argentina leading us across the line with Shamim in second place. And Pratik Benya, one Argentinian, two Indians following him behind in 3, 2, 1. As we go across the line, we start race number 2 in Circuit de Sainte-Croix B with Undercam now making a super start, getting very cleanly off that line on the rolling start. Shamim 94, Pratik Benya on his tail, coming in at turn number 1 with Glending and Dale Raska. It is very, very close behind. And as we settle down, we don't see too much action, but there we go. Dale Raska looks like he's gone for the outside of Pradip Prakash. Is he going to take the outside line? That would have been an audacious move if he could make it stick around the outside, because that was insane by Dale Raska. I don't think I've seen that line be taken there before this.
Yeah, that was a good attempt though, and this track, it's quite interesting because I actually tested this circuit before we finalized it for this particular event. And although if you look at the map, it looks like the corners are really tight, but what's interesting about it is it's actually pretty fast and flowing. So, of course, the one that they're approaching right now is going to be really tight, but after that, there's a fast-flowing sector. It gives the guys behind to get some amount of slipstream. But looking at it now, we're looking at the leader who's running away, followed by Shami. So these two guys are actually doing a good job of it. They're taking advantage of that position they started in.
Looks like Esposito has got his work cut out for him, because we know he's quick, but these guys are all as quick as he is. As all these guys from India and Argentina, as quick as Esposito is. We haven't seen him make his way up the field just as yet, like he did the last couple of times around. There we go. He's down in 13th place at the moment in a big battle again. Him and Aditya Raghav, inseparable once again between these two. And these guys, these guys in the back of the grid are much faster cars out there and much better racecraft.
Yeah, you're right, but it's interesting. These guys are having a tough time making their way up, and I think it's just because it's an extremely competitive grid. The guys from Argentina selected their best six. This time we selected our best six. We kind of put together a great team, and it's actually made for some great racing. It's not the way it's turning out to be, the way we thought it would be. At the end of lap one, Esposito is still last. I can't believe it.
If you look up, there's something going on because Karthikeyan has dropped down the order quite a bit, which is now, and Pradyumna Prakash is starting 8th on the grid, is now made it up in 3rd place. So the Indians now are in the top 3, and that has turned this entire race on its head. I wonder where we missed that action when we were following the Esposito behind, but it is super showing Shamim, Pratik, and Pradyumna Prakash keeping these guys behind. Of course, Dale Roscoe was battling really hard, Shamim, the last time around. So we know these two guys are on equal pace. Bending, leader, Milito, we know is quick as well from the Argentina side. Ravi Kiran from the Indian side, super quick. But between these guys right now, Shamim and Pratik Benya, right now these guys sense opportunity, sense blood in the water, and they're going to throw everything at it if they can take this race win out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to try and make full use of this situation they're in to not get in each other's way and try to pull a gap, because it clearly looks like it's not easy to catch up with the car in front of you on the circuit, even though it's got some fast flowing corners. Everybody here seems to be fairly evenly matched, and we're looking at those 3 UltimateE cars go through there, doing a great job of keeping the cars behind at bay. But those are the Argentina cars. They've all got the UltimateE branding in the back. Yeah.
It's Indians and the Argentinians batting back.
They're actually helping each other out here, helping each other move forward, are they?
They actually are, because right now we see Papi Rowe up now in 6th place at the moment, so he's made up a huge number of places. Esposito now up to 8th. The last time we checked it out, he was in 13th. So the Argentinians now making their move like the Spanish Armada up through this field.
This actually looks like you're watching a cycle race when you watch these guys come together to let the lead cyclist go in front.
Yeah, they're just drafting each other through, yeah.
Yeah, they're drafting each other through, and they're giving each other a lot of space and a lot of room, and they're now starting to attack the top 3 Indians. That's Shamim, Pratik, and Glenn. They're going to start feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, and we're only in the second.
Brad's is third.
Pradyumna now is 3rd place, so we're only in the 3rd lap right now, so we've got another 5 to 4 laps to go, and these guys will pit at some point. Of course, if the Argentinians have just been I wonder, because they know the Indians are going to pit at some point, I wonder if they're just sitting back and conserving tires and fuels and waiting for us to pit, but just hanging on if they can just take the advantage. But on this track, 70 kilometers, not very easy on that strategy, is it?
It's a long circuit, each lap is about 15 seconds, 13 seconds longer than the previous track that we saw, the Italian track that we drove on just now. So they have to pit obviously at some point. The tire wear is pretty high this weekend. It's at 9x as against 4x that it usually is. So it has made it really challenging. But as we speak, Pratik has now taken the lead, and Shamim's made a mistake and dropped into third. So that's for Pradyumna in second.
Pradyumna now, he does this every single time we come in a race number 2. Figures out how to start in the mid pack and then blast past into the top 3 and holds himself there until people throw everything at him, but he just sticks it there, holds himself in there, and just does not give any quarter while he's up in that 2nd or 3rd place or that 1st place even. But right now we're
watching the Argentinian army just going through this, slicing through right now.
And these 3 cars are just slicing through the field as they come along. It's brilliant watching their strategies and how they has actually. I think as he does that, Shami has gotten the wall, been pushed up, got into that wall, lost huge number of places. But now the fast guys, now we see them coming to the field now. Altia with Papi Rowe now in third place.
They're finding it tough to get past Glenn, and Glenn has a lot of experience when it comes to this game. He was one of the finalists in the GT Academy back in 2014, so he is very experienced, and that being said, they've gone past him, but he is putting up a fight there.
I think Dana Raska and Milito, they've both got past him. So I wonder what's happened to Esposito now. He's down in the pits, so has he ended the pits? Yeah, I think he has.
Early pit stops here. Yeah, we're looking at some early pit stops right now.
Very early pit stops. Well, we are on the 4th lap. We have 3 laps to go, and like you said, this lap is 13 seconds longer. So we were guessing it to be. I mean, like if you had just guessing back, he's going to be in. He's probably going to be in a little quicker than the last time they were. But there we go. As it stands right now, with 4 laps completed, Pradyumna Prakash now leads with Papi Rowe in 2nd place. So Papi Rowe looks like he's going to stretch those tires in the fuel as long as he can to see if he can get the other guys come back out, because the guys who pitted now have dropped down the order again. It's not And like we've seen earlier, it's not very easy for these guys to make those places back up.
Not at all, and it is going to be tough for them to catch up. But looking at Pradyumna right now, he's got a 1.8 second penalty. It was 2.5 when he got it, but this is actually allowing Papiro to catch him really, really quickly, and he's got that gang of Argentinian cars coming up catching him. But it's an interesting strategy by the Indians. If you notice, they all pitted on that last lap.
Yep, except Pradyumna and Shamim, they've been left out now. Goose and Maverick, as we call them, been left out to defend entire might of this Armada coming at them, because GT cars these Argentinians are driving. They've got Pradyumna now as from second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way down to sixth place now. He's just a gaggle of Argentinian cars coming at him, and just as we're saying that, he's just been bumped by Papiro a bit. So
a little friendly nudge to let him know that he means business there.
And he's there because Pradyumna, we know, defends super hard, Aditya, and doesn't let these guys go through really easily.
Yeah, Pradyumna is not an easy guy to get past, and he's got his work cut out right now. But I would think he's going to jump into the pit now on this lap. Let's see if he does it. And he has, and both of them are in the pit. This is going to be good to watch.
His fuel, the fuel is pretty much on red. I think all these guys now, the entire Argentinian Armada behind them, have all jumped into the pits. So that's going to bring order back up in front, because it's going to get people like Shami is also in the pits as well. So people like that we saw earlier. We saw earlier, like Milito, Caesar, Fafu, Aspachito.
Now we're looking at.
So Bingo, I think as is coming back out, it's just the same order they're going to come back out in, because Papiro now is up in the first place, and Pratik and Pradyumna seem to have gotten a little bit of tussle just coming out of the pits. But as it stands, Papiro now takes the lead, so he's made some time up in the pits out there.
Yeah, he seems to have made a good time up in the pit, and I think it's down to the fuel strategy between him and Pradyumna, because Pradyumna entered in front of him. But I think what Papiro has done, he's definitely upped his game in terms of fuel. He's probably filled in a bit less than Pradyumna. Pradyumna's also got new tires, so I'm not too sure exactly what these guys are up to when it comes to their strategy, and it's interesting to watch like that, because you'll know everything is going to change when it comes to that last lap. When they start the 7th lap, that's when you're going to see what's happening with their strategies.
Just as you're saying that, I think we're going to see this start to play out, because it's that early pit stop by Aspachito, Milito, Glenling, all these guys in the first into pits. It's that pitted one lap before the other guys did. Looks like it's paying off right now, because Aspachito now not very far behind Pratik and Pradyumna Prakash. Like, the podium place is now in his sights.
Yep, he's catching rapidly, and that was expected. No, we said that. And what was interesting was that he didn't make a single place up on that first lap, and it's only a 7-lap race. Oh, these two are fighting. This is going to give Aspachito
It's going to give him lot more than a chance to go around both these guys, because Aspachito is also bringing Milito with him, and Milito is super quick as well in this game. But Pratik and Pradyumna Prakash, with 2 laps to go, I don't think are going to care who's behind them or in front of them, because they're now fighting for pride.
They are indeed, but they've got the 2 Argentinian boys catching them. This is a battle for second place. It's between second, third, fourth, and fifth. So it's going to be a good one to the finish line. This is the penultimate lap right now, and I don't think Aspachito is going to have it easy. Pratik is now lost focus on Pradyumna, who's in front of him, and full focus on Aspachito, who's now behind him.
He's going to defend, and Pratik, we've seen him defend time and time again, but he looks like
just as you said that, he left the door open.
Left the door wide open, but I think he's taking a completely
different
line. Yeah, he took a completely different racing line, but Aspachito now coming back on Pratik as we go back around second number 1 of this circuit, because Aspachito now finding it rather hard to go around the outside of Pratik, and Pratik not making it easy at all for Aspachito, and it's giving Pradyumna Prakash a little bit of a breather with 1.5 laps to go. But Aspachito is bringing Milito as well along with him now. So if this 6 like this, we're going to have Papiro, who's up in first place, Pradyumna Prakash in second place. Pratik Benya now locked in a super battle between Aspachito and Aspachito on the inside line. Is he going to make it stick? He does as well. Let's put him in the 1. Milito and Pratik now losing 2 places.
2 places there.
Yeah, the 3rd spot of the podium, down in the 5th place. But there we go, Aspachito now up in the 3rd, and Milito in 4th place. Pratik down in 5th place. And Aspasito now with 1.5 laps to go is going to be on an absolute charge because there's 3 seconds now ahead is Prakash and Papoy Ro for Argentina 3 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, and I can imagine Pradyumna's going to have sweaty palms right now. He's definitely. Oh, it looks like Pratik's made a place back. And he's charging for Aspasito right now.
Oh, Pratik, this is some mad racing.
He's a man on fire. Look at that.
I don't think he was happy with the little rubbing his racing, the concept that they want to drive with, but he is coming back so hard at them. But Milito, there we go, down the inside, he's going to get it done. He's not going to make it stick. And this is not going to let Aspasito catch Pradyumna Prakash at the rate he wants to, because he's not going to defend against Pratik Benya out there.
Yeah, he's got Pratik Benya to think of, and Pratik Benya is giving it absolutely everything. I don't know where he came from. Oh, just a little bit of a mistake there, but this track does let you get away with it. But amazing job by Pratik. I thought he had dropped off, and he's just back in it all of a sudden.
He's just back in it, and he knows, because that was a podium spot that he was sitting in contention with. And we are on the final lap right now, so we're about half a lap left in the circuit, or another 3/4 of this lap left in the circuit. The Aspasito now up in the third place with Pratik and Milito laughing some superb little battles, and Pratik is not making it easy for Milito at all to get around him, and he's driving a brilliant race. Gonna put no foot wrong, but Milito now coming back.
This is gonna be a drag race to the next corner there.
Oh, I wonder, because Pratik does have the inside line going on his left-hander, and if Milito's the last, the late breakers. Whoa! Around!
Oh, that was a good one there. Oh, he made a mistake!
He's got it, the wall. But Milito had understeered into the wall and bounced back onto track, and
that's let Glenn get a place there.
Glenn made a place up as well. So Milito's lost 2 places, but Pratik, that was some great defending driving. But Milito around the outside had an opportunistic move, but just could not make it stick. But there we go on the final lap, coming into sector 3 now. Less than half a lap, or less than a quarter of a lap remaining. This is into the S's as we follow Aspasito Kahana on third place, Prakash second, and Papoy Ro for Argentina, who's more, if he keeps it together, he'll take the win for Argentina in a couple of corners, but he's not going to come. He looks like he's on the last corner right now, around the right-hander. Papoy Ro for Argentina takes the win for race number 2. It's Vamos in race number 1 and 2 for Argentina, with Pradyumna Prakash in second place. Brilliant drive. Always figures out a way for him to get from the midfield up onto that podium spot. Aspasito Kahal did not make it up ahead in front, but had a super drive through the field while he sliced the field with him and Milito. Give us some great action and great racing, finishing up in third place with Glenn and with the crew behind him. But this battle between India and Argentina for the first time, as we conclude this, Argentina, whoa, is that some mad action going on?
Just at the line there.
On the line between Ben and Ravi, but between Ravi and Aditya Raghav. But Aditya Raghav doesn't look like he made up too many places, finishing down in 11th place. Looked like he made that big mistake, but Papoy Ro finishing first for Argentina, taking victory in our second race. Aditya, we've had 2 superb races, and I am unbelievably impressed by how close it's been between these 2 countries.
Yeah, it's been absolutely great racing, both races. And as always, the second race threw up some surprises. It gave Aspasito.
It gave us a lot. Yeah, you're so right. It did give us so much to talk about. And we saw these guys go up and down the order constantly at first, with Aspasito and Milito and the rest of them taking it to the boys from India with Pradyumna Prakash and Pratik Benya. So there's been some great battles out there all the way up and down the field. And I think we here at UltimateE would love to thank the Argentinian GTsport Argentina for coming on board and coming on board and racing with us and making this super interesting. So from everyone at UltimateE, thank you very much for joining us, GTsport Argentina. It's been great having you on board, battling with our boys, and we hope we can do a lot more of these events very soon. But that being said, Aditya, from you and I here at UltimateE, it's been an insane 48 hours of racing through the week.
Oh, indeed it has.
And the entire team, from Tarun to Sohil to Viresh to Surya to the entire crew at UltimateE, who put in the long hours from Le Mans to streaming these races through the night, and then to bringing us Formula One, and then bringing us GT Sport with Argentina. It's been an absolute cracker of a weekend. and I'm only looking forward to what's going to happen next week, because we've got some super exciting action coming your way in a week's time with iRacing Formula One again. So it's going to be good. It's going to be great to watch. And from Anjan Ashwath, myself, and Aditya Patel, we are going to sign off and go get some good rest this evening. But thank you guys for joining us, and thank you Argentina and Aspito and his crew for joining us today as well. But thank you and good night.